Okay, good. We're going to start into just creating a simple, basic website, or should I say, web page, not a site. Good. I'm going to open up a text editor. It's called Notepad++. Some of you guys may have that on your computer, and some of you guys may not. However, excuse me, I'm talking. Now, some of you guys may not. Afterwards, when I'm going to be done with this, I will install it on your computer for you. Those that don't have it. Okay. Here's how it basically works. It's pretty much very similar to Notepad. Everybody had ever played with Notepad? Good. What's the file format for Notepad? That's correct. TXT, file format for Notepad. Right. Now, you have various file formats in this application, but we're not going to go through all of them. But let's just say this. If I were to save this document, is default as TXT. Okay. Now, be very careful with this right here. Very important to know. Because sometimes when you're saving it, when you're thinking about trying to save an HTML website, it may save in that format as TXT, text format. All right. Make sure that you select, and I prefer this application instead of using just your standard Notepad. Document that you want, and just say hypertext. Let's see if my eyes are good. Good. That's what you want. Let's save it as HTML. Okay. Your two various formats, HTML and HTM. Both of those are okay to use. Okay. Before I get into that, let me just throw in some basic tags. Okay, that's your first tag. Please, this is very important to know this part of it. Okay. These are the rudimentary essentials that you must know in order to do any form of web design, any form of web programming. Okay? Okay, good. First, you start with the initial root tags. I'm going to close the root tag with HTML. Okay? Think of this as like how you do a letter.
Address. PO box.
You got it here, right?
Yeah.
You good? One at a time. Go ahead. Good. All right, that's enough we need to know. But we will not be using all those elements. We'll be using some of those elements. Once you get this understanding, this is going to just launch you up to everything else. Now, here's how it goes. This is going to be your essential root tags. You see what I have here? Every tag that is your basic tags is going to be a starting tag and a closing tag. And that closing tag is going to be closed with a what? /. Okay, good. Then I'm going to add another tag. That's a head. Let me see if I could just increase it. That's good.
Yeah.
All right. With inside the head tag, we have something that we call child elements. You have a parent element and a child element. every tag that are the basic tags have a starting tag and a closing tag. Okay? What is the child element of head? Correct. What is the parent element of title?
Yeah.
Correct. Head is the parent element title. Well, that's what we basically use in the program. You got it? Now, those things are basically, you're not going to be knowing so much more than that. Those are just the basic elements you need to know in that regard. Now, I'm going to add another section called body. I'm just going to go slow enough for you guys to get this. Now, the body section, what it all has in the body section of our letter? Correct. It has the paragraph, information. Correct. That's exactly how a website is constructed. Now, in this title section, you want to know what that is? What are we going to put in there? It just put in there welcome in the title section. No, I can have this just like this and that would work. But let me just add a few stuff. I'm going to put in, I'll just put in some, I'm just going to put some basic text.
Yeah, okay then.
Okay, good. Now, from beginning to end, this is considered proper syntax. Okay? When we use the term syntax, think of it as in English class, we use it as grammar. Grammar, syntax. So if I say your syntax have errors in it, I'm saying your grammar or your programming has errors in it. Got it? Same thing, syntax, grammar. See the same thing. Okay, good. Not necessarily, but in terms of coding, it's essential that you have to have a construct from beginning to end coming straight down. Going straight across will give you trouble. Will give you trouble in the form of trying to read the information. Say, for instance, you're a programmer, and we have a standard in terms of programming, whereby if you're going to have another programmer come in and take a look at your code, or to finish up where you are at a particular time. Right. You don't want to have it all in the constructs of how you prefer to have it. All right. You want to come back in there. Everybody can come at the same document and know where you start, know where you end, know how everything is laid out. Okay. It's just like, say, for instance, you're building a house. You're going to build to building code, right? Or the building standards. You're not going to build a house based upon how you feel like it just because, okay, all right, I'm in the Bahamas, I'm going to build it in the conditions or the climates of a person that's living in the Arctic. No, that would not work over here. Okay, so these are the basic elements. These are the essential elements, okay? Very important to know. HTML, that's where it starts out. Head. In the head section, you have a title, which is the child element. You close that head, then you start with a body, then you close that body, then you end with HTML. Pardon me? Yes, yes. Now here's the thing. Let me just go through some little errors that sometimes people would have. Sometimes people would do this. This could bring a lot of errors on your code. Correct. It would see it as a multiple line thing going on, and it would cause a lot of problems to the web browser. think of the web browser as a translator, okay, or interpreter for your HTML language or code. It looks at it as an expression. Okay, look at it. Okay, you got HTML here. So therefore, I'm going to think I have HTML to go through. Now, you have certain web browsers out there, especially today's web browser, highly intelligent. And they are pretty lenient with you in terms of when you make mistakes with your code. They will try to figure it out. Whenever you make mistakes, they'll clean it up for you. You don't want to get into that concept, or you don't want to get into those problems, because here it is. If they do an update on their web browser, chances are your code may get jacked up or messed up. Okay, so your syntax must be correct at all times. Now, I got this from my last class last year. Does it matter to have uppercase or lowercase?
No. No.
Doesn't matter in this regard. Okay? In my class, I prefer you guys to code lowercase. All right? I prefer lowercase. Now, when it comes down to body elements, if you have any text, it's okay to have uppercase or camel case. Have you ever heard the term camel case before? Right, when you have various different strings that has an uppercase and a lowercase. Before I get further into it, let me just save this document. I'm going to save it as, this is very important to know. Now, I prefer all lowercase with this too, okay? But this has my web page. And I'm going to just change the save type as hypertext markup language. Make sure you see this HTML, HTM. Okay, good. I'm going to save this to the desktop. Notice how it changed. Okay. Your text editor is pretty much have an understanding of what kind of document this is. So therefore, it can go in there and autocorrect if necessary. With my previous class, I had them use the basic element, the basic text editor. That was just Notepad. They didn't have the ability to autocorrect or to do certain things. They just had the backbone Notepad. So I give you guys Notepad++. Okay? Now, let's just minimize this. And right here on my desktop, okay? Now, notice this. Let me just go through this with you guys. Inspect some elements. I'm going to right-click, inspect elements. Okay. It's essential that you guys know your web browser as web designers. Okay, you got to know that certain web browsers interpret things very differently from others. From what I do know, there are the two basic web browsers out there that actually use, should I say, all the various standards that are up to date is Firefox and Google Chrome. All right. So here it is that we have inside the title section. You see in the tab, we have the welcome. So that's how you get it. You insert it in the title. Everybody got that? I need to know that everybody got that. Okay? I don't expect you to be the best at code. Okay? Some of us inside here are going to be specialists in various areas, but it's essential that you know the fundamentals. All right? Some of us in here will be good at graphics of web design. Some of us in here will be good at code in web design. Okay? Web design is a diverse subject matter. Yes. And you'll see that some of them cross over. You know, have a hybrid of the two. Once you have those type of skills, you're pretty much on your way as a either a webmaster or a true web developer in itself. One like Mark Zuckerberg, he was pretty much a person that had both elements in his portfolio. All right. Yes. Okay. Good. She asked the question, how did I got here? All right. Once I save the document, I save as. Okay. Good. Then I went to my desktop, and it automatically turned it into a web browser or a Chrome document. I have it as Chrome. If you see mine as Chrome, or if you see yours as any other web browser, that's the default type. You can change your default. Let's just say if I right click it, properties, change, I can change it to Internet Explorer. All right, but that's not going to be my default. Yes. Oh, well, you saw that. Let me take a look. Oh, you see this right in here? That's a good question. All right. That's a very good question. All right, that's just the path it used in order to save it. You may not see that type of path on yours. So we'll get to that. All right. So say for instance, I'm going to add, before I get into the color part of it, I'm going to just do some expressions of the code. What do you think this means? Nice try. Paragraph. Okay, if you notice, we use in almost everyday language in HTML. All right, this is your rudimentary language for everything else when it comes down to web development. Okay. Yes. Okay, good. Should I close it? It ain't necessary that you close a paragraph. It ain't necessary. But however, proper syntax. Very proper. If somebody take a look at your code, they can say, okay, this person knows what they're doing. All right. Now you got shorthand code whereby some people can go and just put the paragraph tag in there, and you don't have to worry about closing it. All right. Now, what if I want to manipulate or change the look of Hello Bahamas? I'm going to change it to a larger print or font. What do you think H1 means? Correct, heading. Header. And I'm gonna close it. Then I'm gonna save. I can keep this open just like this, right? Then just keep this on the side. And I'm gonna dock it to the side. Just grab it. Grab the top of the screen, just dock it to the side. You'll see the squaring of the window right there. Release it. Now I'm gonna go over here. Just one at a time. It's essential that you get this part of it first. All right. Now you didn't see it. No updates to it, right? I'm gonna refresh it. Good. If you notice, there's a change in between these two. Okay. Now I gotta go without having to put in now the P tags, because the P tags are default tags. I could have just keep this without having the tags in there, and it will still be looking as a paragraph tag because it is a default tag or text tag. And refresh it, same thing. Okay. But it's best to have it when it comes down to, say, for instance, you want to break a line in between various paragraphs. Okay, you will see the reason as to why I put it as such. But there it is. We're going to just go through other things. We're going to put in some CSS inside here. Remember now, with web design, you have three basic elements that you need to know as fundamental or as essential for a web designer. You need to know HTML, you need to know CSS, and you need to know JavaScript. Now, HTML is the rudimentary basic elements that you need to know for a website. You already got that down pat, right? Say, for instance, that you did. You understood that you need those tags. Now, two, what you need is, you would need some CSS. What CSS is responsible for, okay? You want to put in some declarations. You want to put in some color. You want to put in various elements. Basically, CSS is the aesthetics for a website, okay? So, yes? No, I'm just going to go through some stuff with you guys. I don't think we're going to go through all the exercises, but let me just go through this part of it. Now, where do we put CSS? We would put it inside the head. Now, here's how it goes. We're going to say it as style. Notice I already getting the auto correct. Pardon me. You all saw it as something that was much easier. What's that? Pardon me? Oh, I just did it right, so to give me some space to make my stuff, make my code look neat. It's essential that you give some space in between to show where you start, where you end, and where you're gonna have blocks of code. Okay. Nice try. Almost correct. In some instances, that is true, but not here. All right. In some instances, that is true. She asked the question. Everybody heard it? Okay, good. Anyway, that's a really good question in terms of if you put in spaces in your code, will that be expressed on the web browser? In some instances, only when it comes down to strings. All right. If you're putting in content, say in the body section, sometimes that is the case. Now, if you put in tags before then it would make that change for you. But we'll get there. Okay, I'm going to put in some style. This is the CSS structure. Okay, in order to put in CSS, you must have this style and a closing style. Where it's going to be at? Within the head section. So this is another child element, right? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change something right here. I'm going to put in a selector. What is a selector? I'm going to create a tag, put in that same tag using this. Remember that same tag that I have in there? The hello, hello Bahamas. I'm going to change that to, let's just say, a color. I can put in the strings, or I can put in the hexacolor. Okay, hexadecimal colors. Hexadecimal colors have about 6 different values, or I can put in a string color. So let me just put in a string just for now. Put in the blue, close it. If I want to, okay, right here, this is a property, and this is a value. Okay, this is considered a declaration. Okay, I don't expect you to know all of this now. I'm just trying to show you some stuff. Now, will it work if I have it like that? Yes, it will, but it's not proper to have it like that. Fix that. Ignore it. No, it uses the American standard for color. Okay, good. I don't know why I came up that way, but all right. And just save it. Okay, you see the change? Okay, that's CSS. It has a selector. What is the selector? I'm selecting the H1. That's correct. What is the property? Correct. What is the value? Correct. What is this all together? Correct. That's some bright kids. We can move forward. Everybody got that? Everybody got it? Good. Because I'm going to be moving fast, and I'm going to see exactly who we got it. Okay. No, sorry. Okay. So, okay, good question. All right. When it comes down to styling, okay. I think you have about 2 questions in there. Let me see if I can answer. Okay, when it comes down to the body elements, the body part of the page carries all the content. Most of your content, if not all. When it comes down to your images, if you're going to be in certain images, if you're going to be in certain any form of content, if you're going to be in certain, whether there's a YouTube video, whether there is a video of anything, whether there is a sound bite, all of it is going to be inserted within the body section. Okay. Now that's standard. That cannot be changed. All right. Anything that is in the head section, I know it can be challenging to think of it otherwise, because here it is that I have a head down here. But this is just basically the structure for the web browser itself. This is how it interprets things. Okay. It matters what order it's in. Okay. Now, when anything that you want to insert on the page, where you think it's going to be at? Correct. Anything that you want to put on the page, it's going to be in the body section. Come after the paragraph. Now, you have another way of expressing the style sheet. Okay. You can put in inline cells. Okay? You'll get there. Pardon me? Mhm.
Differentiates kind of how from this is just basic page. But that's you tell it like H1 times that's the heading of it.
Yeah. It's what you express it to be, whatever you want it to be. Okay. Say, for instance, I want another thing called a bar or a break. That's gonna be giving me a space in between. I'd rather not put that in there. Let me just take that out. Until we get to it, let's keep it like this. All right. So we have this just one at a time. Just give me this. Just give me this one moment to put this in here. I'm gonna put in something else. I'll just put in a for the P tag. Let me see what I can put in now. Purple. That's what you want.
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay. So your declaration is enclosed in what? Curly brackets, right? Good. Or somebody say French brackets. Okay, good. So say for instance, I want, let me see what I can put here. Pardon me?
When for the color, not the other color, the bracket. After the color, semicolon.
Or no space. It's essential that you must have your semicolons in there. Okay?
So if you so under proposed body, if you are open on the next and asking your time value, you'll put H2,
Hmm?
you put H2 to open on the next and you want to do like asking your time value, you'll put H2.
We'll get to it. H1 tag is the largest font type or the largest header that you can ever get at. It goes from one, I do believe, to about 4, if I'm not mistaken, or 3. All right, then you have another header. Let's just change that. Let me just put this to a P. If you notice, it didn't come up, right? That was black, right? Now, hold on. This is a funny one here because some web browsers would figure out what you're trying to do and make that purple. But within this web browser, because you did not consider putting the tags at all, okay, I'm going to be just straight up honest with you. I don't see it as purple. From what I see and what I read, I don't see it as purple, even though my default is considered P. Okay?
On the H1, beginning and ending with, it was in here, Muhammad would have been a paragraph two. That's one little piece there.
Good one. That could have been. I could have done this. Let me just open this up big. I could have taken this and put it here. What happened now? And all of them would be what? Good. What was the question?
I asked, okay, like, you see,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
you see, I was like, saying that probably was psychology, and then that was the head was psychology, and then underneath you went like something. I was trying to see if you would put H1, if it would still read as, if it's still going underneath it, or if it has that.
You mean on the same line?
Okay, if it would go, yeah, if it would go on the line, like underneath, because still would be H1.
H1 is just a size. That's correct. I still don't get what she's trying to say. Anybody?
Like if you want to.
Hold on, one at a time. What you saying? You could use, listen, you could use, well, you can use that, that is correct. You can use H3 as a subheading, okay? That's the largest one, H1, and you can use H3 as a subheading. And as your default, we all know that's the paragraph tag, right? So, did I get it? Did I answer your question? Well, thanks. All right, good.
So when we end, when we are, so the first slash and
Yeah, all tags need to be ended with a closing forward slash.
so when we done finish all of this, that got so CMS to the end of it, we always have to put the open bracket and the slash, and then the HTML.
You just got that fundamental part of it. If you got that fundamental part of it, you're on your way. Okay? So where you put all the content? Correct. Where would I put all the images? If I want images. Correct. Right. Okay, good. The heading, okay, and that can be misleading. And I can understand why people would say, okay, you got head way up here. Why you don't put all your text up there? Or you didn't put Hello Bahamas way up there. Okay, that part of it is for a web browser. Okay? It interprets things from the very beginning from here, from that HTML. All right? And this part of it is where it reads everything. It reads what your website is all about, or what your web page is all about. Okay? Does it have this welcome section? I'm going to put it in there. Okay? Does it have any style sheets or any style declaration? I'm going to put it in there. All before, see, this is how it reads. Okay, I'm going to collect this information. Yes, I know it's HTML. Okay? We got a welcome. Let me put that on. This is how the web browser expresses it. It reads through your code straight down. Okay, it's going to say, okay, yes, I have HTML. Okay, this is a web page. I know now. Okay, what you got? Your title. Okay, you got welcome. Let me put this up here in your tab. Welcome. Then I'm going to come down to your style. I'll hold this for thought. Yes, you said you want your header 1 as blue, and you want your paragraph as purple. I'll hold that for thought. When I get to your header, and when I get to your paragraph, I'm going to color them. That's how it goes. And when you come down to the very end, I'm going to close it off for you. You're going to close it, and that's it. Very simple. That's the interpretation of your website or your web page. What's that?
So you see how your brother will show in the time.
Mm-hmm.
So you will put the things that they don't know.
Okay, that's your favorite corner. That part of it, we'll put that in later on. Okay, but we're not going to get there right now. All right, just one thing at a time. Okay.
You got your welcome and go like notification.
No, you can't. There are so many variations and stuff of this website, but I doubt you can. Let's try it out. Nobody really done that before. Actually, no reason to, but nothing wrong with trying. You see that? All it's going to do is interpret that text. I really don't care what you got in there. You got text in there, you got tags in there. So what? I'm going to put it up there. From what I see, that is just title information. That's exactly how your web browser thinks. Exactly. Whatever you said it has, I'm going to put it in there as such. Okay, good. That brings me to this. We asked the question, what is a web designer? Okay, this is a very broad subject matter, okay? Web design encompasses all user experiences, whether from the desktop, from an iPad, from a laptop, video game, from a printer, TV, or RSS feed, or watch RSS feed. Don't worry about it. No. Let's not go there, okay? All right. I'm just trying to tell you that the web encompasses all these various areas, okay? And now, it comes down to the watch part of it. This is a very important part. They just now introduced very smart watches that have various capabilities. And as a web designer, you're going to have to keep that in mind, even considering that as an outlet for your user experience. What are you creating for the web? HTML, JPEG. What is JPEG? Okay. CSS, GIFs. What's that? Which one is a moving picture? Correct. GIFs. What else is a moving element?
What you said, it's a what?
It's a moving image. And so it has the potential to be a moving image. Let's put it that way. But it has the, yeah. Yeah. Then you have Flash. What are you creating? So, you know, these are just basic stuff that we go over. Okay. As a web designer, imagine you need to furnish an empty space, or let's just say an interior designer. And you want to create a space for daycare. All right. You make the space like that. Why? One at a time, please. Okay, hands up. There's no what? Okay. Would this be an experience for a child that would be fun-loving and excited and jumping around and playing? Okay. How about something like that?
Yeah.
Why? Right. Okay, good. Okay, we got that understanding. This is very important to know, okay? Because if you're going to be web designers or web developers, all these user experiences or all these elements you need to consider, okay? If you're going to create a website for a church, if you're going to be creating a website for a grocery store, whatever it is, you need to keep these in mind, okay? So I see you guys as front-end design. This is what we're going to be covering, front-end design, okay? Whenever you heard the expression or whenever you hear the expression as front-end design, you're thinking about, just like how we talk about the front end of a website, the design of it, how it look and feel, like how you furnish the interior of a place. That's front-end design, okay? The graphics, if you have video, certain content, why do you have this particular color for a particular font? Why do you have this font? All these things you need to consider when it comes down to front-end design. So you're developing for a visual part of the website, controlling typography, layouts, color, graphics, also responsible for the site planning, user interaction, user experience, and client-side scripting. Scripting, that part of it would be considered JavaScript. and some content management. Okay. So this brings you to, are you going to be a specialist in a particular area, or you're going to be like in the HTML for the most part, you're going to be just structuring the website, or are you just going to be creating web graphics, or you're going to be a UX designer that say, hey, I want this particular structure, whatever it is, or I just want some GIFs on the web page. All these things you need to consider. Dedicating your time to learning the ever-changing nature of web design to mastering your craft. Okay, very important, very, very important. They just now completed the HTML5 language. Okay, I think the WC as W3C, excuse me, just not created just not completed the HTML5 language, and the thing what I'm getting at is that there are many different tags out there. Okay, I just showed you a few of the basic rudimentary tags, the basic tags that you need to know. There are many other tags out there, so you got to keep researching. You got to keep on getting to know, familiar with various areas in HTML and in any form of web design. It comes down to Flash, if they are using Flash. Anybody heard of Flash? Adobe Flash?
Yeah.
Okay, good. But yeah, but that's just one of the content elements of different media outlets for the web. So do I want to be or need to be a professional web designer? It ain't necessary that you need to be a professional web designer. Okay? You can grasp the various areas in web design in this course or in this program and use it for other things. Okay? You can be a content manager. You have so many different skills that you can get or from this particular course in this program that you pretty much can be flexible. So, but if is the case that you want to be a professional web designer, it's essential that you master HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Okay, exploring the different areas of web design. The different areas of web design. A general, let's read that out. Very important. Okay, there are some people that start off that way. Not necessarily you need to write it. Just keep it in mind. All right? Just keep it in mind. I may even put one of these on the desk. Now that you said. Oh, sure, that's your paper actually. That paper I gave you is something that you need to go on and do a little study more. Yeah, all that stuff. I'm not gonna be, be challenging with you guys in that regard, but I need to see results with your websites. We'll leave that alone. It's supposed to be a bonus, but anyway, yes, it's going to be in there. Okay, you see the UX, that's a user experience. Okay, everybody got that? So General isn't necessary is heavy on graphics, but they're pretty good with layouts. They're pretty good with how they want, not necessarily structure or cosmetics, but they pretty much know how to build a website from beginning to end. All right, they know the basic elements, fundamentals. Okay, you have a general knowledge of all those subject areas. Everybody got that? I may have this on YouTube, so you can go back and take a look at it if you need to. All right, visual designer. I just read that.
Primarily concerned with the visual aspects of a website. Colors and photos, layouts, and graphics creation of the primary skills.
So you pretty much got those people. You got to understand those people. Okay, Photoshop, Flash, these are their areas, okay? That's their section when it comes down to web design. So, like I say, this is a very broad subject matter. Some of us in here would be better at one thing than the other. Some of us in here would be good at Photoshop skills. Some of us in here would be at coding, good coding skills. Okay, so I'm not looking for the best in both worlds, but I'm looking for a specialist in certain areas because that's the basic, should I say, the basis for everything. Okay, not going to be the best at everything, but if you have your particular area that you like or your expertise, that's good. Okay, but you notice it still has to have HTML within it. You still have to have some CSS within it. If you're a visual designer, it's essential that you have to have that. Okay. You can change color of something both by graphics using JPEG, GIF, or you can change it by CSS. Everybody got that? Done? Okay, good. You don't need to know line for line, but you need to know where their core subject matters at. Okay? They're going to know the Photoshop or anything Adobe like packages. It comes down to graphics. Yes?
Which one computer would you say would be the best for?
Graphics? Ah, good question. Very good question. All right. Which computer would be good for graphics?
I say,
MacBook.
Let me
MacBook.
hold on. Very good question. If you're gonna do graphics as, should I say, as a developer or a person that is going to go into it full time, most companies or corporations, I would say even Google, if you want to work for them, if you want to work for if you want to work for Facebook or any high-end place, they require you to know how your ins and outs of the Mac environment. So it would be good to have that skill to at least get an Apple computer. But however, that does not stop you in terms of getting an HP, a Windows computer. Okay, right now things have really now leveled off in terms of performance. You can still get almost the same performance with a HP computer, with an iMac, Mac computer, but that's industry standard when it comes down to it. Most places, when you go to a private firm, wherever else, if you're going to be doing graphics, they're going to have or supply you with a Mac. All right. But if you're going to be doing some home stuff and you have the money, an HP laptop and an HP computer is good enough. Or any PC that has strong RAM, strong graphics. Okay, this one, please. Okay, let's go ahead and read this one.
Sometimes consulted on the cost structure of the website.
Very good. Very good. Okay. A UX designer is a new expression that's been about now for about 3 to 4 years, but it has been really evolving over the years. But right now, it's a field to be in. You don't need to be a coder. You don't need to know graphics. All you need to have is good psychological skills and human behavior. Okay? All you need to know the basic nature of people. Excuse me, I'm talking. All you need to know is the basic nature of how people behave when it comes down to various elements, how they interact with various things. Okay? You don't need to know how to code. You don't need to do graphics. Nothing on the back end, nothing on the front end. Some bits on the front end. All you're doing is saying, hey, I think they need to have it this way. Draw this out. That way, bam, bam, bam. You can be doing off the wireframes. You'll see certain things like in the image right here in the illustration. This is considered wireframing. You'll be doing that in this class. Yes? Yes, sorry about that. That's the okay, all right. Everybody got that? So they are sometimes consultants. So say for instance you had you were designing a website for Nike, right? What you do is like, okay, you are Nike. Let's just say you are Nike. You work for them, and you are one of their webmasters or something. What you would probably do is you would get with people who love basketball or who love sports. Anything that it relates to sports, you bring them in and say, hey, how do you express this for me? How do you think our Nike website should be? Okay. Then you say you would have various ways of how people will express it. It's very important to know. They would say, hey, well, I think you should have a big shoe in the front of the right in the front of the client's face, on the front of the user's face. Okay, a nice big shoe, high resolution, whatever else. Then you should just have your navigations on the side throughout the website. Okay, or you should have some textures of a basketball on both sides. All of these things is the user experience. You want to submerge them with inside the website. Yes, please. Yes.
Okay,
Good question. Let me just second. Okay, some of us may have. Let me see. Some of us may have word wrap off. Let's just put that on there. I just went down to the next line. Okay. If you have word wrap off in certain programs, everything would be on one line. You want to have that. And a good reason to have a word wrap on, say for instance, I would have gone straight right down the line here start typing a bit of information that goes straight across. You don't want to come back and say you want to do some editing to it, and you got to go way on the side here just to fix that error or fix some grammar. You want to just come right down and fix it right there in the place. You got it? Good. Okay, let me just show you, for example. I'm going to take it off. 1 second. We just copy. Notice what's going on here. I can't see the rest of my information. You see that? That's correct. That's a problem. And I can't even edit with inside here. I would have to go and use the scroll bar and fix those problems. See? You don't want to be that far away from your basic elements or your root elements or root tags, for instance. Yes? Now, how to fix this problem? You go to View, Word Wrap. And that way you can just go in here and fix those problems. No, I just repeated it because, say for instance, that was a paragraph. You had about 6 to 7 lines or sentences. You had about 6 to 7 sentences. You don't want to have your sentences going way across the screen. So you're going to do a word wrap to bring it right down, just like how you would see it in a letter. Okay? Yeah. Good question. Okay, everybody got that? Okay, Interactive Designer. Okay, they work hand in hand with the UX designer. It's a very close field of subject matter. It's a very blended field because here it is, both of them kind of work hand in hand. And for the most part, they are responsible for implementing or creating those behaviors. Say, for instance, if I were to click on a picture, will the picture flip? Will the picture be interactive and transform into a video? Have you seen a thumbnail that did something like that? Right. Interactive designers are responsible for that. So they create those behaviors, okay? We'll go into some of it. All of these are professions. If you go into, that's how big in general web design has become. I've given you all the different areas, okay? Yes. Let's just say Facebook, they have a UX designer. They probably have about 2 or 3 UX designers. Or 4. Some corporations, some places have about 4 to 5 UX designers. And some, you know. Everybody got it? And make sure you guys got this now. We're part of the tags that you're going to be putting content. Where do you put? Yes. Right. Where do you put style sheets?
Between the head.
Right.
Between the head.
Where do you put the title? Right. Keep that in mind. Everybody got that, right? I'm going to start again.
Oh, she's like.
Good. So the UX designer and don't get these two mixed up. A lot of people get them mixed up. When you are a interactive designer or IU or UX, don't get them mixed up. Interactive user experience to a UX designer, there are two different fields.
What does UX?
The user experience, people who are responsible for the user experience are people who are not designers or not programmers. They don't go in there and do the code. Okay? You just know for a shadow of a doubt, you just know how a website should be or look and feel based upon your audience. Okay?
What is that?
Okay, I think I took it out. Anyway, let me just go back. What is this? Okay, we're talking about a website. Say, for instance, you completed your website. I know I went a little far with you guys, but a host is basically web space. Basically web space. Just keep that in mind. Web space. S-P-A-C-E. Say, for instance, you're a business, right? And you're a grocery store. You want to open a grocery store. What you do first? And you have all you have all your products in storage. You have all of your items, invoice, whatever else, inventory. What do? You go and seek out some place to rent or to build to have your business occupied. Well, either way it can work, but if you really have all your stuff, some people even start that way. If you have all your stuff, well, why get the place? Some people get the place first and be paying rent and don't have no products. So it would be good to have your product supplies, and you get your space. So the minute when you get in there, you're in business. You're losing money when you already started to your rent. You already start, you're already up $1,000 behind, and you even have no products on the shelf yet. But anyway, we got the understanding. Okay, good. Some places are responsible for this is like GatorHost. You ever heard of that? GatorHost.com. You heard of GoDaddy? GoDaddy is like a you see a commercial ad like after the Super Bowl or something. Very common. Yeah, you see GoDaddy.com or whatever else. Those are pretty good websites. Get familiar with a lot of them. I'm so sorry I don't have it on you. I thought I did, but didn't. Let me just go to the website. Okay, excuse me. Okay, this is where you're gonna have your website at. Okay. If you're interested in GoDaddy, they have a lot of different packages. They also would supply you with a domain name. What is a domain name? I think we got an address, right? Okay. It's good to know a really good domain name. Keep it very simple. Something short, something that is familiar. Okay? Yeah. And here's the thing. If you're really interested, you can make a lot of money. Let me show you this one. I was designing a website for place. Well, it was a organization just for women. They called G5 or something like that for the church. And they said I wanted G and the number 5.com or .org or something like that. That web address or that domain name was already taken. And the person who had it just had it for storage. They purchased it online for dirt cheap, for like about $25 or something like that. And you know what they were selling it for? $24,000. It's a lot of money in domain names. If you get, listen, if you, and they don't even have a website. All they did was bought the domain name, and they kept. Somebody who owned cap.com, just cap, apple.com, simple, practical names. Somebody bought Apple's name before Apple did. Apple had to buy them out. If it's not been used, yes. If a company, say for instance, a company get about the same name, you could wager however you want. Say for instance, you had let's see, let me just give you an example. Yes, it is. Okay, check this out. It's not available. Look at that. That's not available. But what if I did something like this, right? Let me just say.
$69.
Yeah, but notice now. Hold on. I'm just gonna be very practical, eh? Something and practical. Okay, that's already taken.
$27.
What if look at the price?
Red model.
You see the difference? You know, you know the marketing strategy they put in now. GoDaddy probably purchased this. They probably purchased this, and they see the little basic names, and they brought them all together. They have certain computer generators for various names, and they just buy them all up. So what you could do is, if you come up with a strategy to say, okay, Blue Box, something practical and simple, very simple stuff. And if you made it through and you got one that's actually working, whereby it's only $2 and somewhat cents, whatever else. Say for instance, something like this. Let me just put that in there. I know that's available. Okay, good. You see that? Just because I just put in there 2. Because they know users don't care to remember numbers. Okay, being practical, being simple. It's the same thing applies for your email accounts. I advise that you keep it practical and simple. Say, for instance, you're on a board meeting. You want to know various clients. You want to know various people in the audience. You don't want to say, okay, my email address, or you put on your business card, because I'm going to see you guys as college grads or college students. Okay. You should be professional with everything you do from this day forward. I'm trying to mold you guys right now. You're going to have your first and last name, okay? If you want to be professionally considered. People will want to see Tasha Farrington, sweet chocolate 242. You know, at live.com. Nobody want to see all of that. You know? So keeping it simple also shows maturity. Okay? That same thing applies here also. Now, if you notice, we've been using a lot of this in the Bahamas.
You do it wrong.
Yeah. I noticed this haven't been going in.
Honestly, that's what I do. Go through. Like your education.
Well, I still do that. Come on, I'm saying you go to one thing and then.
Right.
Awesome.
Nobody know but us.
Yeah. Try a house number.
No, one person already did that, just to say a number. You'd be surprised if it's as practical as it may seem.
If that opens the bar,
$1.com. No.
You see the trick?
Because it's simple.
If you search it down to the owner of that, they asking for everything for that. You see? Because a lot of companies like practical and simple names. I've given you all a lot of information inside here that I shouldn't be giving to you guys as a web designer. But I felt as though that's my opportunity to give to you guys. This may be my last year even doing this with you.
like why?
I like to share information, but I only share the special folks.
Oh, these special?
Y'all special.
Oh.
All right? Y'all are special folks. Y'all are the future. Y'all take the internet or the web to the future far better than we did.
Huh? It's the same old company.
Yeah, take 5 minutes. 5 minutes?
I'm saying for everybody. We have open questions right now. Let me just.
You record that whole time?